down, and rightfully so, because Nikki Gianulias and Dede Davidson are just about ready to start the semifinal game. And Nikki G with a 214-202 victory over Linda Kelly. And now there's just 3 players left in this tournament.
Nikki Gianulias also, I mentioned those back problems, was helped out this week by the Illinois Chiropractic Society Sports Council, and they had 4 doctors on hand: Dr. Garth Edwards, Dr. Steve Siegel, Dr. Pierre Gerard, and Dr. Teresa Kelly, helping all the players with their backs. Very physical sport, Denny. A lot of pain.
It's a lot of doctors.
I think they just enjoyed bowling, so they sent out the whole council to watch.
Did you forget anybody?
I didn't. West Pye wrote all these down for me.
2-4-5 on the left-hand lane for Nikki Gianulias, who, well, gave her best performance of Lazarus in game number 2, came back from the dead. She was pretty much finished for the night and then resurrected herself with a nice 4-bagger, came from behind to win. And opens game number 3 with a tough spare.
Nice spare conversion, the 2-4-5. Dede adding a piece of tape.
Trying to get it off her finger too, right?
Has had a tough go of it here this year.
Yeah, normally a player at this point in time who's already maybe won a title would easily be in the top 10. One of the real talented, physical talented players that the ladies tour provides, but it has been a struggle for her this year.
Well, she's currently 0-2 on television for 1992, or her match play streak, I should say, is 0-2.
Comes out quick with a nice shot and a strike on lane 26. Told me that she was going to run back and sandblast her bowling ball until the moment she had to come out and throw her practice shots before game number 3.
Oh, played a big tug this week. She said, all I could do is tug the ball, trying to get it into a very early roll.
You talk about tugging for the left-handers, that means that they're throwing the ball right. And for the right-handers, they're trying to pull the ball a little left. Beautiful shot. Dede Davidson opens with a double, but it has been a tough year, and Leila had an opportunity to explain what Dede's been going through.
What Dede was doing was to try to compensate for some dry lane conditions. What she did was to break her wrist, but what happened was the fact that she got into these bad habits and was unable to correct them when the lanes got tighter. When you break your wrist, you start the ball like this, and when you come back in your backswing, you're unable to get the lift on the ball as you follow through. So when the lanes were tighter, she was not getting any lift. Now she's made the correction. She's keeping her wrist very straight and almost in a cupped position, starting the ball. She's keeping it this way throughout her whole backswing, and as she's coming through, she's been able to get the lift on the ball.
And you certainly need lift tonight, as tight as the lanes are.
Well, thanks to Ron Bragg, our tour player services guy, drills the equipment for the ladies out here on tour, spotted that in Dede's game. She was not going to bowl this week, but her sponsor told her go practice after last week and get out there, and she'd practiced and worked on it, and here she is.
Well, normally when you break that wrist, a lot of players will do it to make spares to stop the ball from hooking, and when the lanes are really hooking a lot, sometimes you have to revert to that on your strike ball, and it's a tricky little move.
Well, it is, and that's exactly what she was doing, but she was not able to go back and forth with it.
Nikki Gianulias had an up-and-down type of a week, and as we mentioned last night, she had a brilliant round, went from 8th to 3rd. Look at Tish Johnson, nothing but 1st and 2nd all week long.
Well, all the players right up there except Nikki, really the only one out of the top 10 throughout the week.
And now she's 8 frames from bowling for a title. Based on what happens, boy, she stood up momentarily, thought that ball was going to go high, and ended up with just the 4-pin.
Feeling more and more comfortable as the games go on here. Just completely forgot about that channel ball. High game this week, 267. Low game, 163.
Well, you show experience when you come back from a shot like that and go on to defeat a quality opponent like Linda Kelly. Because you have to forget about that last shot and move on to what's ahead. 3 spares for Nikki. Let's see if Dede can answer with 3 strikes.
All 3 of our top players right now, 1, 2, and 3, come from California. A lot of competition out there. Good junior programs.
Dede Davidson decides to re-rack on the right-hand lane. Don't forget, as soon as we're done here in Hoffman-Estates, Illinois, we'll be heading to New York as Doug the Cobra DeWitt will fight this evening in a scheduled 10-round super middleweight fight coming up on Top Rank Boxing as soon as we're done here this evening, so you won't want to miss that. Boy, they've had some great fights last 3 or 4 weeks on Top Rank. They're in Monticello, New York tonight.
Dede looking for a turkey. Players are allowed 2 re-racks. If they would like any additional, they must consult with our tournament director, Wes Pye.
I thought you were going to say they had to buy him at that point in time. Wes will put him for sale, won't he?
There you go.
She might have liked another re-rack after you look at the reaction on her face on that shot.
Well, she played the tug, Denny. This time she just tugged a little bit too far, leaving herself with a 2-4-10. It's going to want to hit on the left side of the 2-pin, throw it in the 10. Usually you see this by a right-hander.
Went to a polished ball that did nothing but skid about 60 feet. So an open frame in the 3rd changes the complexion of this match.
This summer, Dede is going to try to work some of the professional bowling camps. She is on staff there, wants to bowl in a lot of regional events. She told me to tell her friends in Michigan and Kansas hi for her and wish her friend Judy Wong a happy birthday coming up here the 1st of June.
Another fine shot. So a mistake on the right-hand lane, but she comes back strong on lane 25.
Nikki Gianulias not yet throwing any strikes so far in this game. 2 4-pins, though, the last 2 frames. Lanes could be breaking down just a little bit.
Yeah, it took her a while to get started in her opening game, but she strung together 4 consecutive strikes in the latter stages to pull that one out of the fire.
Well, Nikki, with 17 career titles, has been under pressure a number of times. Denny performs very well when the heat is put on.
I think she's a bowler's type player. I mean, the other players on the tour admire her for her tenacity and competitiveness, and she sticks to it. I mean, she's one of the hardest workers out here. As you mentioned, she's changed her game on a number of occasions to try and, well, I guess compete out here, especially with some of the younger players that come out with these boom balls and bigger games, and Nikki's always trying to find the edge.
She's dedicated to the game, Denny, and you have to be in order to be willing to do all that.
To be a world champion, you have to give everything that you have each and every trip, and that's what she does.
Nikki travels in a motorhome along with other professional bowler Elaine Blamenberg. In her off time, she enjoys sailing catamarans, tennis. Be playing a lot of tennis this summer.
Well, I wonder if she's changing the angle on 25.